Hi guys, today's video is something that I wanted to do even though it's a little late, a couple weeks into 2024, but I wanted to do it. And so that is top 10 4Ks of 2023. This includes audio and visual together. And of course, these are just my opinions. And I wanted to do a couple honorable mentions. There's so many good 4Ks out there that had phenomenal visuals and audio together. But here we go. One of the honorable mentions is, and some of them might surprise people why they're not in the top 10. But again, this is my ranking. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Thought it was really good. Visuals really popped. Sound design was phenomenal. I mean, this was the best animated movie, in my opinion, of 2024. Puss in Boots, Last Wish was really good as well. But I mean, there's a reason why a lot of people selected this as in their top 10, or even mention it into best of 2023 4Ks. Another one was Dragon Slayer. Dragon Slayer surprised the crap out of me. This was a great 4K. This almost made it into my top 10. Again, it's a very old film. Paramount did a phenomenal job with the sound design. The picture looks really good, especially when the dragon it comes out, and phenomenal job. I think it's their best, if not one of the best 4Ks that Paramount put out. Flashdance is one of them for the 4K transfer and everything. But anyway, so those are just a couple of honorable mentions, and I'll just get into it. So number 10 is Bloodsport. Bloodsport looked phenomenal. Very crisp. This was the 4K release from Germany, and I can't imagine this 4K look any better than this 4K was released. Great. It's one of my favorite movies of all action movies. Again, I saw this movie with my dad, so maybe that's why this is in my top 10. This also has Dolby Atmos and sounded really good. Of course, there's other movies that sounded a little bit better, but for me, the 4K transfer and just looks so good. Claude Van Damme never looked any better. So that is my number 10. Number 9 is Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. Great. Again, all of these movies have wonderful 4K transfers. This was very crisp. Sound design was good. Just like the other reviewers, I do think Fallout looked a little bit better, especially with the IMAX scenes. This doesn't, but with the combination of how the transfer looked and the audio design, powerful bass, just great immersive sounds. And again, fantastic movie, looked really good. So that is number 9. Number 8 is Oppenheimer. One of my favorite film of 2023. I think that this is the best 5.1 audio I have heard, I think, ever. So very good job by Christopher Nolan. 4K transfer was phenomenal. Just very crisp. I've watched this movie a few times on the 4K formats. I also heard that this release looked better than the movie theater. So, and there's a reason why this movie keeps on selling out and why there's a renaissance of 4K movies, or just movies, physical media in general, was because of this and all the hard work and love that Christopher Nolan has for physical media. So thank you, Christopher Nolan. But yeah, this movie, phenomenal, must buy. Next is Gran Turismo. This movie was one of my most surprising movies that I've watched last year. I thought it was going to be dumb. It's based off a kid playing PlayStation, Gran Turismo, and you guys know the story. But wonderful story. The movie's great, and the acting is just as good as anything I've seen. So just wonderful movie. Totally surprised me. 4K transfer in the audio. The audio is phenomenal. Very immersive sound design, and yeah, just the combination of those two, I was just pretty blown away. So that made the movie more enjoyable to go with the story and how well the movie was made. So very good job, Sony. Yeah, fantastic. I mean, Sony is always up there with studios that puts out the best 4K. If not, they're the best. Again, in my opinion. At number 6 is a movie that I was shocked at just how great it was. The acting was, the acting was so good. The storyline, I honestly, I'm not a big fan of the franchise. I like the first couple, but that is Saw X. Saw X was the biggest surprise for me of last year. One of my favorite, to me, it's my second favorite horror film of last year. First for me is Talk to Me, but Saw X, the storyline was so good, and Tobin, holy shit, you acted your ass off. And I think it's the best performance in a horror film, and just like the emotions that I felt for him, to go with the storyline in this. He's a fucking bad guy, and so not enough words can be said of how well Tobin acted in this film, and so that's just me gushing over the movie itself. The 4K transfer and the audio experience. I mean, I had this movie blasting. It was so good. Very immersive Dolby Atmos. 4K transfer looked so good. Those gore scenes and everything, it's Saw. It's a Saw franchise. So, there's going to be some nasty, bloody scenes in there, and they looked so good. They look so good in the 4K. I can't recommend this high enough. I mean, this movie, fantastic visual, audio experience. Yeah, I think it should be in the top 10 of everyone's. But again, this is my top 10. So one of the best films I've seen last year. Number 5, I will put John Wick 4. I've seen this in a little bit lower or higher on the tier list. But for me, everyone knows it's John Wick. Very immersive sound. the beginning of the movie, this is pounding. Just when John Wick hits that punching bag, uh, holy shit! I shook the damn house, and my wife complained to me. Uh, so yeah, this movie looked so good. Again, it's another Lionsgate film. Um, Great movie in general. I think it's the second best in the franchise as well. But yeah, Keanu Reeves never looked any better, and highly recommend owning it. It's a must own, uh, um, for 4K owners, and yeah, I personally don't think they should make another one, but this is a damn moneymaker of a franchise, so obviously they're gonna try to probably make another one. But I think how it ended, I don't think there should be another John Wick movie. But again, it's a money maker, and there's a reason why people came out to see the film. It's a wonderful film, and the 4K Dolby Vision and Dolby Atmos is just as good. So that is my number 5. Number 4. My number 4. This to me was the best audio experience I had in any movie last year. Yeah, this might be higher in some people's lists, but my number 4 is Evil Dead Rise. Evil Dead Rise, this had the best opening of any, I think of any movie last year. The title card, put that shit in the Hall of Fame. Yeah, if you know, you know, especially in the horror community. I don't think the movie is that great, but nonetheless, this is the best audio experience I had last year. And because of that, just how memorable this audio design, the Dolby Atmos, how immersive. It's just all around you. And the 4K transfer is good. It's very good. But the audio, holy moly, very good. It just blew me away. So that is why it's very high in my list, specifically because of the audio design. Must own. Number 3. My number 3 was a late entrance. I couldn't believe it. Saw this movie as a kid. Thought it was okay. Pretty boring. It's a long ass movie. But seeing it at home, James Cameron with another fantastic 4K. That is Titanic. Titanic was so good. One of the best visuals of any movie I saw last year. Audio design, especially when all shit hits the fan. It was so good. But the visuals, I was not expecting it. Us physical media collectors, we were hoping for the best just because, Terminator 2, we all know how bad that transfer is. And we're hoping that we get a different transfer someday, who knows? But this looked so good. It's a must buy. Can't recommend it highly enough. fantastic. It's a beautiful film. Um, but the picture and then the combination um, of the audio. It's kind of a little bit of a reverse of Evil Dead, like just how much I love the Evil Dead audio, the Dolby Atmos, very immersive. This was just a slight reverse. The visuals, amazing. Um, and the second half of the film just sounded, yeah, sounded so good. So that is number 3. Number 2, back to back James Cameron film, and that is Avatar: The Way of the Water. Wow, visuals. Again, there's a reason why this movie specifically is very high on people's lists. I was blown away of how good I think this movie looked better at home than it did in the movie theater. And that's one of the things why, one of the reasons why I buy movies at home, why a lot of us physical media collectors buy those damn expensive TVs and sound systems. It's because we want that home theater experience at home. And this movie shocked me in some ways. Yes, Avatar, the first one, was groundbreaking and it looked amazing. And of course, it looked very good in 4K, but I thought this looked a little bit better. I thought the audio design, the Dolby Atmos was better. I do have to point out that Disney was I was very disappointed with Disney re-releasing the collector's edition, because I know my ass would have bought the collector's edition right from the get-go. But of course, a few months later, they re-released it, Avatar 1 and 2. So I honestly don't know if I'm going to upgrade or, buy those two. Probably, because it's me. But yeah, one of the best films last year of visuals and audio. So that is my number 2. Number 1 is a movie that, I didn't know that much about. And by the time I watched it, I was blown away of the storyline, the audio experience, the visuals. It was so good. And it's a reason why it's my number 1. And that is The Core. The Core was just great job by Paramount. I'm just joking. The Core. I mean, I love my disaster films. It's my second favorite genre. The 4K made it look worse, but it's got great actors. But anyway, I'm just playing. My number 1 is, best audio experience I had, right up there with Evil Dead Rise, and best visuals, combination of visual and audio experience, and that is All Quiet on the Western Front. This movie, I watched it on Netflix, was very surprised how well the experience, the immersive audio was, and everything on Netflix. And I knew that the physical disc would be even better. And it was so good. And it helps, of course, that the movie's great. I think it's better than 1917. and it's high up there. I don't think it's one of the best, but I think it's up there. Um, so take that as you will. But yeah, I got the media book when it originally came out. I got the media book for when it originally came out, and I loved this film. I watched it, I think I watched it a couple days after I originally bought it, and I was just blown away. It literally sounded like the first time I was watching Saving Private Ryan. Um, that is one of the best audio experiences. And again, why I we spend money on on those sound systems, on those speakers to have the home theater experience, and this is it. This is my number one. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you haven't bought any of those movies, buy them, because they're all deserving to be in the top 10, and you're gonna have an amazing in-home or at-home experience with those movies. I think all of them were Dolby Atmos except for Oppenheimer. Oppenheimer, again, was the best 5.1 audio I've ever heard. It was it was very close to sounding like a Dolby Atmos experience. So anyway, guys, you guys have a good day, and if you like the video, just go ahead and like and subscribe.